to Life Curious Women. I am so excited that you are here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, we are in a new setup. I don't love the lighting in here. Can't figure out why there's shadow. But we're actually doing some construction to the room that I normally record in. And so I had to move to the bedroom so we're nice and cozy with my pillows and my cup of coffee here. So if you're watching, that is why this setup is a little different. And maybe when I hear this back, it'll sound a little different because I know the acoustics are a little bit different in my bedroom. Or maybe not. Maybe this sounds exactly the same as every other episode. We will see. Anyways, I'm so excited to be back. I just don't understand time because we are literally 2 weeks away from our retreat, roughly. We are leaving. We're going to India. We're doing our second annual Connection to Purpose retreat. I am leaving the first week of March. We'll be there for about 10 days, which is crazy. And it just totally snuck up on me. But I feel very ready for this. I'm so excited. And I think, if you're new to this community and you weren't around for our last retreat, one of the things that I think is so special about our retreat is that it truly not only is an incredible group of women, but it truly is the only time that I've ever found where I have the space and the time to be fully present because the circumstances allow for me to be fully present, right? I think that travel in general does shake up your nervous system, your routine. It makes you excited. You have something to look forward to. You are in a new culture, environment, all of the things. But I think what's so special about our Connection to Purpose retreat is that not only you have all of that, but you're going with an incredible group of women that are all there for the same purpose, which is to connect to themselves, to connect deeper to their purpose, to ground themselves, to shake things up, right? To have a new lens on what they should be focusing on in their day-to-day life. And on top of that, connecting with the culture there, but also with each other. And I think that was really, really special about our last retreat was that we built such deep connections on just such a human level. And I'm so excited for that this time. And I know that this is a new location, a different retreat, a new set of women, not a new set, but more women added to the group than last time. And so it will be a different experience. But I think that core of presence, connection, one of the things that I think makes this different than, planning a trip with your friends is that you are being so fully present because everything is planned for you. You're not thinking about hotel reservations. You're not thinking about dinner reservations. You're not thinking about what time do we have to go to X excursion. We're not thinking about our transportation. Literally all you have to do is just bring yourself and be present and enjoy and watch and take photos and talk to each other and journal. You literally don't have to think about anything. And I think that that's what's so beautiful. And yeah, I'm so excited. And I think that last time it was a smaller group. And also I felt a little bit more comfortable because it was a closer location and I spoke Spanish. So I knew that I could communicate while I was there. This time around, this feels so much more uncomfortable, but in a good way, uncomfortable in an exciting way, because I don't know the language. I don't know the culture. I've never, ever been that far out from the US. I've never flown that far away from my home. And so I am just nervous and excited and so open and ready for the experience. So that's what's been on my mind lately as we approach this retreat. And if you're at all interested, if you missed this retreat, if something feels I wish I had joined this time around, reach out to me. I will be starting a wait list like I did last year for anyone who's interested in the next retreat, because we're going to keep going and we're going to have our third annual retreat next year. And I can't wait. I'm already thinking about it. I have no idea where we're going to go yet. I have no idea any of the details, but all I know is that this has become such a staple here at Life Curious Women that it has to continue. It has to continue. And so I will be keeping you updated. We're going to be doing the same thing as last year. I'm going to be doing daily podcasts while we are there. And I'm going to come up with more ideas on how to share the experience with all of you. And I'm excited to be able to share that with all of you, because I think that whether or not you're on the retreat, there's a lot to learn from our experience there. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I could talk about it forever. Yap, yap, yap. But let's get into this week's episode, because I want to build on what we were talking about last week. So last week I gave you guys a little bit of an update of all of the things that has been going on in my life. If you didn't listen to that episode, all good. You can pause and go back and listen if you want. If not, doesn't matter. I'm just building on what has been my experience. And so if you did listen, if you didn't listen, I shared that back in November, I was let go from my 9-to-5 job, a corporate job that I worked so hard to get as an actor, because, I needed the flexibility, and it was really a gift when I did get it. And I lost it after about a year, but I was so ready for it. And I was so open. And I talked all about all of the things that I did to get ready for something like that to happen, and all of the things that I have been doing as I transition into this new version of my life. And so today, what we're going to talk about is the sticky in between up levels. And what I mean by that specifically is between an old version and a new version of your life, I think oftentimes there is this like weird middle where there's like a recalibration of your nervous system, where you're kind of like finding your grounding. I know that as someone who has finished their Saturn return, and if you haven't gone through it, or if you have already gone through it, you know what I'm talking about. There's so much energy and shakeup within that period that in the last couple of years, I have like jumped versions of my life through this is my third time of like going from one version of my life into a whole new version of my life, seemingly within a month, a few weeks. And it's happened a few times. And to be honest, the first two times, it was a tough transition for me mentally. And now I'm going through it again. And it seems to be happening like clockwork. Like every year, I'm like entering a whole new version of my life. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about like the in between space where like suddenly you are in a new version, you're transitioning, you feel it, you know it, it's a new version of your life, but there's growing pains, like where you're like a deer that like can't walk yet, right? Like you're like trying to figure it out. I know I have felt oftentimes like, when's the other shoe going to drop? Like, okay, all of these good things are happening. All the things that I've been wanting are starting to happen. Like, but like, it's not going to last, right? Like, it's just not going to last. And then suddenly it does last. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, like this is a new version of my life. Okay, got it. How do I get recalibrated where my nervous system feels safe and happy and excited and knows that this is this delicious new version of my life, right? This can play out in different scenarios. Maybe you left a job you've been wanting to leave, or let's say you invested in coaching, or you started a podcast, or you started writing a book, or whatever it is for you. And all of a sudden you took that leap, and now you're in this weird in between space. Or maybe you didn't take the leap. Maybe the universe took the leap for you. And you're in this weird in between space where you're like, okay, we're here. It feels weird. I don't feel like this, like, yes, I'm here. We've arrived. I'm ready. Like, you're second guessing yourself. You have negative thoughts. You're questioning if this was right or not right, or like maybe nothing's happening. Maybe it's completely stagnant. Maybe you were like, I'm going to start a podcast, and then no one listened to an episode, or no one's engaging with the content you're putting out. And now you're like second guessing yourself. And now you're like, well, what's happening? Because like I did the thing, but nothing's coming my way. So I want to talk about that, the sticky middle, because that is where I am right now, where I'm in this transition. And let me tell you, because this is now like my third time in the last 3 years of suddenly up leveling, I understand that these are growing pains and it will pass and I will transition and my nervous system will get accustomed. And so that's why I want to talk about it, because I want to talk about the things you can be doing right now to move through this discomfort phase. Or maybe things came really fast at you. You know, that's happened to me. Now suddenly you're like, well, do I deserve this? Is like, and you're questioning your worth. It's just a period of your nervous system catching up. This sense of disorientation, because your body has never been in this place before. Your nervous system has never been in this place before. So like, how do you expect for you to just suddenly transition and be like, ah, I'm at home? That's not going to always happen. And it might happen in some instances. And you know what? It might happen one day, and then the next day you've completely out of place, like a fish out of water. I want to share a little bit of what's been going on for me in this weird transition. So I have felt so blessed, because losing my job, getting let go in November, was sort of like a catalyst for tons of magical things that happened afterwards, which I shared about last episode. Everything seemed to be falling into place. And then I've had all this spaciousness to go to the gym and like be present and honestly don't even know what to do with myself, where I'm like, I've never had free time like this. And I feel guilty that I have all this free time. And like, I should be filling this free time with things. I should be working, and like balancing the guilt with also being like, but you've been working so hard for so long. If you take January to just rest on the days that you don't really have anything to do, that's okay. But the way I've been feeling internally is guilt. Like I said, guilt of having so much time freedom. And I know maybe you're listening and you're like, ugh, that's so annoying. And I probably would have said that too. But this is genuinely how I feel, where I'm like, I feel a little bit guilty that I have free time, because I have to heal my own issues with productivity and filling up space, and knowing that like I can have an easeful life and still have success. Controversial opinion. You know, I can build an easeful life and still have success. I don't have to like deserve rest. And so there's a lot of that aspect. There is just like so much recalibration of my nervous system, of like not being used to this, and thinking, well, I don't know. And then financially being like, oh, well, I was fine for December, I was fine for January. What if I'm not fine for February? What if everything dries up? And guess what? It started to, where all of a sudden I lost a couple of clients. Like now I have to find a couple more clients. So what if I don't find more clients in time to like be okay? And granted, like I talked about last episode, have built up a savings where I'm prepared to experiment in this next phase of my life with freelancing. But still, just the same, it's like old patterning fear that I am like working through, of okay, I'm safe, so why do I feel nervous that I don't have like a full plate right now? You know, I'm financially safe, so why do I feel like oh my god, oh my god. It's just been like a lot of mental work. For example, one of my big dreams is I want to be on television. I want to be a recurring on a television show. That is like a big goal of mine. And I'm like, do I deserve that right now? Am I ready for that? Is my nervous system ready for that? Am I ready for that? Like suddenly, whereas before I felt so confident and ready and like, I'm ready for this. And now the opportunities are arriving. It's getting closer, and the fear is starting to come in of, well, am I ready for this? I don't know. And so it's feeling very uncomfortable right now, because all of these things are not things that I'm used to feeling. And objectively, I can look and say, I've been here before. Over a year ago, I felt the same way. And I understand that now, where this was without a doubt an up level once again. And now I have to just adjust my nervous system to accept and know that we're at this new phase. So let's give this experience a little bit more language, because I know I'm sharing about my experience, but I do want to put it in terms that allow for anyone who's listening to give language to whatever you're feeling. And so, just black and white. This old identity is now gone. You're in this new identity. It is hard when you only have a little bit of proof that this is a new identity. And so, your identity or the surrounding circumstances have now up-leveled. Now, you just have to let your nervous system, your mind, your subconscious catch up. Because if you were not ready for these things, this would not be happening to you. You would not have taken the leap, or the universe wouldn't have handed on a platter whatever it is that is going on for you. And so you're just in this integration space. That's what this is. It feels icky, but it's an integration space. So your life is now reorganizing to who you are inside, even if it doesn't feel like you're ready for it. Now, let's talk about why this feels this way. Why does it feel icky? Why does it feel weird? Because I've gotten curious and I've been thinking about it a lot. It's been on my mind a lot. Why do I feel this way? Is it because I don't think I'm deserving? Or like, what am I sabotaging myself? Like, what is it? I think that in this icky phase, we need proof that we can trust circumstances. We're in the beginning stages of that, of the confirmation that this is a new reality and that it's not going away. There's often no metrics. Like for me personally, I'm getting bigger opportunities, more expansive. I'm definitely in a new phase of my daily schedule. But like, now what? I don't even know what to look for to know that I'm on track right now, because I'm feeling disoriented. And to be honest, this journey has been a little bit behind the scenes and on my own. So of course I have my support system, but it's like, I know I'm going to be okay and I'm safe, but it's the internal work. There can be loneliness in growth. As much as you talk to your partner or your friends or your therapist about it, it can be lonely. And that's just the middle. That's just the sticky middle. And it's okay, and you're safe, and you're right where you're supposed to be. And this isn't punishment. You might be confusing this icky, weird feeling as, well, maybe I made the wrong choice. I could easily say I could easily think that right now, where I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I've lost a couple UGC clients, and maybe I made like really decent money in my 9 to 5. Like, maybe that's not going to happen this year. And like last week I had a ton of auditions, and then this week I had no auditions. And maybe that's a sign that this isn't right. And I could easily think that. But because I've already gone through this a couple times, I know that this is just that transitional period. But you might be thinking, well, things are not really going wrong, and I'm getting tested left and right. And maybe this was a mistake. Maybe this isn't the right path. Maybe this wasn't meant to happen. Maybe the universe did this and it's like a punishment. These are the things that might be coming across your mind. So I want to reframe this. I want to reframe this period. I want to reframe the void. I want to talk about the things that I'm doing. I want to talk about what you can be doing to reframe this period, this transitional period. What this period is for is building trust. Trust in yourself and trust in the universe. Trust that you can make decisions in your life that align with the direction that you're supposed to go in. It is also trust to know that you will learn how to operate in this new identity. I know for me, one of my struggles right now is having ADHD and having to build my own structure and schedule, because I really thrive in structured settings. It is easier for me to know that someone is expecting something from me than for me to create my own structure and my own schedule, because I will procrastinate. So it's harder for me to do those things unless someone is relying on me, or I have some sort of financial investment in that thing, or there's some sort of like time deadline. And so that is what essentially this is happening. And like I mentioned, your nervous system, right? I have been thinking about my nervous system a lot during this period, where I'm like, okay, there's a lot of physicality. I know that energy is stuck in my body. So I've been trying to prioritize working out. I have been trying to rest more, knowing that like my body probably needs more rest during this transitional period because it's a shock to the nervous system. There's a lot of ways to do this that I've been doing that don't include finances, like EFT tapping in the morning and listening to affirmations and things like that that are really grounding for my nervous system during this period. And so I want to talk about our Life Curious Women formula, which I haven't talked about in a while. And if you're new here, we'll go over today. But I think that this is a good set of tools to bring in during this period. And so the first is connection to self. I talk about the Life Curious Women formula as a means to connect deeper to your purpose, which ultimately is everything we're doing all of the time, even in a transitional period. I am now rooting deeper into my purpose as I move through this transition. The first concept is connection to self. And why that's so important is because you need your nervous system to move through decisions. You need that calmness in order to be able to be clear. But also, I think to be able to hear your intuition and listen to yourself a little bit more. And there's multiple different ways to connect to yourself. And so, like I mentioned before, EFT tapping, journaling. I've just recently started therapy again. I haven't been in talk therapy in about a year and a half to 2 years. And I just literally just started like 2 weeks ago. And I knew that it was something that I wanted to do right now during this period as I explore my relationship to rest and productivity and this new transition into a new schedule and lifestyle and freelancing. And so really being able to tune into how you feel, where things are coming from, getting curious about, and that's all I've been doing, getting curious about why do I feel this way? Why does it feel weird? Where are these beliefs coming from? What is being triggered right now during this transitional period? And how do I begin to rewire that as I move into this new version of my life? Now, the second part of the formula is expansion. So finding people that are going through something similar that you are, finding people who are at the level that you feel like you are entering or a dream level. So these don't have to be people you actually know, but really expanding your horizons, being able to expand what your brain sees and believes, because it's going to give you more confidence, more proof, like we were talking about. You are just getting the beginning stages of proof that you can handle this new identity, this new life. And kind of hand in hand with that is education. And I think that you have to build confidence, you have to build trust. And the way that you do that is through learning. It's just through learning. If you want to take the leap and start a podcast or write a book or switch jobs, the more you can learn about that other thing, the more confidence you're going to build. And I think that that's another piece that I've been trying to dive into is how to handle my finances as a freelancer. Like, what are other actors doing? What as freelancers? Like, let me learn more, even more about building a UGC business. Let me learn more about building a portfolio career, having multiple streams of income. How does that work? How do taxes work for that? Like, the more I learn about these things, the more confident I'm going to feel as I enter this new era. And so education is the next piece. And now the last piece of the Life Curious Women formula is taking action, even if it's small action. And I have sort of been forced to take action as I've been kind of plunged into this new version of my life. But taking action and being like, let me ask questions of people. Let me apply to this. Let me apply to that. Let me ask people for recommendations for things. And you can do something small, pick up a book on something, or reach out and DM to someone that you're interested in learning more. These are all little pieces of action that you can be taking. And in combination, doing all four of these things, so connection to yourself, expanding your horizons, education, and then taking action, this will all move through the sludge. It'll help you move through the sludge. It'll help you get closer to this new identity, to deepening your roots within your purpose. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions to reflect on as you are moving through this period right now. The first is, where am I asking for proof instead of trusting? The second is, what feels unfamiliar because it's new, not wrong? And the last is, what would it look like if I just honored this phase, not rushed it. I think that we have to normalize these transitional periods because we will continuously for the rest of our lives have them. We want to have these periods. We want to have these up levels, right? Because then that means we're growing. And every up level is going to have that leap moment, whether you choose it or the universe chooses it, the sticky middle, which is maybe where you're at and why you're listening to this, the stabilization period where you start to feel okay, like we're here, I'm ready, I'm good, I feel good, I've worked through the things and the feelings and the emotions, and my nervous system feels more used to this now. And then finally, where you're just free and you're comfortable and you're moving and grooving until the next up level. And most people quit. Truthfully, most people quit in the middle part. And that's where that stagnation starts to happen. If you just stop doing the work and you quit or you revert backwards and you actually don't move forward and you're feeling stagnant and you're like, well, nothing's happening. I feel like I've been in the same place for like a year. Maybe take a look at that. Maybe take a look at where maybe you took steps backwards or you've chosen to stay in place and live in fear instead of get curious and move through the life curious formula and use those tools to really take action and move through it and get curious and understand where you're at. And something really positive about this sticky middle that you're in is the sticky middle is where you build stabilization. It's where you build longevity in this new version of your life, truthfully, because you become so clear on like, what is this trying to show me? Why am I feeling like this? Where is it coming from? Let me dig in there and like clear that out and move through the sludge so that you feel even more grounded in the future. And the sooner you do this, the quicker you get to the stabilization expansion mode. Okay, friends. So I just want to leave you with this. Look, you're not behind. You're you're not doing anything wrong. You didn't take a misstep. Everything happens for a reason. You're just integrating. It's so positive that you're in this place, even if it doesn't feel positive, because this means like so much beautiful things are coming your way. They already probably are. It's just gonna take a moment for your nervous system to get accustomed to it. And that's okay. And that's human. And we all go through it. And I'm going through it. And this episode is as much for you as it is for me. Alrighty, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We talked about a lot. And so if you are feeling like you need to go journal, or if you feel like, you know what, I've already gone through a transition, felt all the feels, but I know someone else that's going through it, share this episode with them. I hope it was helpful to hear. And we'll be back next week with another episode as we get closer and closer to leaving for India for the Connection to Purpose retreat. So thank you so much for being here, y'all. And I'll talk to you soon.